Julio, you've done some pretty cool things in your baseball career already, but never been part of a Game 7. Just what was the feeling waking up and getting to the ballpark today?
Definitely really excited. I should say, like, this is my first time being part of a Game 7, and they say in sports that there is no better two words than that. So I'm very excited for today.
Go to Daniel on your left, Julio.
Julio, you've talked all October about embracing the pressure, embracing the expectations. Why has that been such an important mentality for you and this team to have?
I would say when you embrace something, you kind of see it for what it is. You don't try to add more to it. I feel like when you do that, like, you're able to be more present and, like, kind of, taking the situation for what it is, and be yourself in it.
First row on your right, Julio. John?
Hey, Julio. I know a lot's been talked about the All-Star break and the time that you had to get away from things to mentally reset and get ready for the second half. What did you do during that time that was so effective for you to be able to have a great second half?
I would say, kind of like I was telling him, just kind of like embracing, everything that I had going on. I feel like the first half, on the personal level and also on the field, like, it was a little rough for me. I feel like, embracing all of that and kind of understand that kind of who I was better. I feel like that's what helped me out, to kind of becoming to my own and just kind of play the way I'm used to play without kind of really trying to fill anybody's shoes or trying to be something different than that.
I know during the offseason, I think it was 2021, you played for Escogido. I believe Vladimir was playing for them at the same time. How much did you overlap during that season? What was that experience like playing with Vladimir on that team in winter ball?
It was in 2020, and we became really good friends back then. I feel like, he was a big prospect when he was coming out of the Dominican Republic, and, since then I remember, like, following him, and, like, we got to meet, like, in person and all that in the Escogido, and he was always really welcoming with me, and, like, we always talk a lot, and it was really nice to me. So it was really cool, to, like, have him on the other side and kind of going battling on the field.
Go to the fourth row straight ahead, Gabe.
Hey, Julio. The way you guys have won two, you lose two, you win one, you lose one, have you ever experienced such an emotional swing playing baseball before?
Obviously not. This is the first time that I play a Game 7, but I just feel like, that's how the series evolved. I feel like in the emotional side of things, I feel like I try to be, like, pretty even keeled through this, and, like, every time that we play in the game, it's like 9 innings and kind of playing hard and kind of let everything else happen. And, with baseball, you can't really, like, hold on too much to how you feel about a win or a loss. So, it's definitely been really fun, the swing of things in this series.
Go to the fourth row on your left, Jordan.
Julio, we've seen you wearing a lot of anime shirts during the postseason. Can you talk about that interest and how that has inspired you throughout your career and how it maybe helps you even on the field?
Well, like, I love anime. I don't know if that's a secret for anybody in this room, but now I love anime. And I've been watching it since I was a kid, and if you get to see so many of the characters that at least, let's say, Goku and Dragon Ball Z, of, like, Luffy in One Piece or Naruto in the show, I feel like they are really motivational. They at least for me personally, like, they have really, like, their mentality and the way that they approach certain things, I feel like really resonates with what I do and what I do in baseball, because, baseball can get really tough because everybody knows it's a really difficult sport, but at the same time, like, you can't shy away from the challenge, and you always got to continue to push forward in those situations. And I feel like that's something that you get to see in anime a lot, in the storyline, the character development, them overcoming challenges. And I feel like that's why I really love anime. I know there's a lot of people say, oh, but it's a drawing and all that, but, like, once you sit and watch and you get to kind of resonate with what they're saying in the show, I feel like it's really cool.
Go up front on your left.
Julio, what makes this clubhouse so special, and what has being a part of this team meant to you this year?
I would say, like, the brotherhood that we have with each other. I feel like we really get along with each other. We really like to play for each other. And I feel like that's something that separates us, and a few of us have been playing together for a while, and, like, I feel like we definitely see each other as brothers, and I feel like that's what we're able to go and take a field and compete for each other.
Right up front, Julio.
Julio, with a Game 7, do you need to fight the urge to try to do that little bit extra, a little bit more, or do you lean into the moment of what's in front of you tonight, and how do you kind of approach it?
I feel like that's the right way to do it. You know, like we've been here by being who we are, by playing our baseball, and I feel like that's something that you have to double down. You know, there is no need to do more. I feel like everybody have been doing it the whole year. We've been playing baseball the whole year, preparing the whole year, and that it came down to one game. You're just doing one more of the same thing. I feel like that's a mentality we should take in this Game 7.
Standing in the back left, Julio.
Julio, I'll do mine in Spanish. Imagino que creciendo, teniendo la posibilidad de jugar pelota, siempre imaginaste tener la oportunidad de jugar un juego 7, ¿no? Y creo que donde las papas queman, como dicen. ¿Cómo reflexionas sobre esta oportunidad y cómo está la mentalidad, el aspecto mental adentro del clubhouse, teniendo en cuenta este desafío que tienen hoy?
Yo digo que sí, muchísimas veces de verdad de chamaquito. Yo siempre pensé como, juego 7, 3-2, base llena, fulano pichando y que venga yo y de un jonrón. De verdad que fueron muchísimas veces que yo hice eso con mis amigos, solo, jugando PlayStation. De verdad que lo hice mucho y de verdad que me siento muy emocionado por tener esta oportunidad básicamente como cumplir uno de mis sueños en un sentido de poder jugar un juego 7 cuando o tú ganas o te vas para tu casa.
Fourth row on your left, Tyler.
Julio, way back before you signed with the Mariners, what did you know about the franchise? What did the franchise symbolize or signify to you before you signed there?
Before I signed, the biggest name I knew was definitely Ichiro Suzuki's name. Like he was really popular in the Dominican Republic for his way of playing, and right around the time that I signed, that my favorite player was really Nelson Cruz, and that's something that kind of like pulled me up to the team too, and just kind of like the way that I thought they were going to develop players. That was like the biggest thing we knew, because I feel like for us in the Dominican Republic, even though like we follow the MLB, I feel like our biggest baseball is Dominican Winter League.
Aaron, the last row on your left.
Julio, the last time you guys faced Bieber, your home run was the only thing that the Mariners got off of him. Can you take us back? What's it like facing him? What are kind of your cues and keys when you face Shane Bieber?
I mean, he's a really good pitcher. You know, like he's been in this league doing what he's been doing for a while, and like that he's a really good pitcher. That that you got to go out there and compete against him and trying to get your pitch, because he also got obviously like his plan, and kind of you got to bring it to your own zone.
A couple last ones for Julio. We'll go right there.
Julio, let's Dan talk to you about where he wants you in the lineup tonight, and do you have a preference?
No, I'm ready to compete, man. Like for me, I feel like the only thing I can control and really do is just like my intent, my preparation, and just be ready to compete.
Anything else for Julio? All right, Julio, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
We get started with Dan Wilson. Start with Ryan in the back, center.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Ryan.
Lineup question, because you don't usually change it up too often, but you got a little different look in there today. What kind of went into bringing Victor back in and moving some guys around?
Yeah, I mean, really, Victor's just the only change, and looking at how he has swung the bat, and I think more or less the energy he brings to our club and the energy he brings to the lineup, and some of the things he can do on the bases and whatnot. So a chance to get him in there today, and kind of again make a little bit of an adjustment, change things up a little bit.
Going to the front left here, Dan.
And a lot of your guys have talked about embracing the pressure and the expectations of the stakes. I know that might be stressful to do at times, especially from your vantage point, but why can that be beneficial to have that mentality?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's number one. It's undeniable. I mean, there is that it does exist, and you're not human if you don't feel some of that. For a Game 7, we've kind of gone through it in Game 5, and we talked about understanding it and at least acknowledging that there's something on the line, and then being able to channel that in the right direction, I think is key. And these guys have done that all season long. We've been in situations, particularly down the stretch in September, where you've kind of had to win. You had to win that night, and I think these guys have developed a good strategy on how to deal with that. And so that's all part of embracing what's ahead of us. And tonight, Game 7, it's an incredible opportunity, and I think these guys see that for that, and we'll go out there and do what they do.
Go to Brady in the middle.
Dan, did you give any consideration to starting Brian at all today? And if you bring him in relief, would you do so at the beginning of an inning? Could you see him in the middle of an inning? How would you see him being used?
Yeah, I think this was George's game tonight. I think that's where we had kind of gone all along. In terms of the bullpen tonight, we say all hands on deck. It's definitely that tonight. We'll have just about everybody down there, just about everybody available. So, I think how we use them, how it looks, will depend largely on how the game rolls out. But I think that the thing that is the most exciting is just the guys want the ball. They want to be in there. They want to be the guy to be in the moment. And that's we've got a bullpen full of guys that want that, and that's the good news.
We'll go in the back to Ryan.
Dan, with all those guys available, what is optimal for George? Is it one time through the lineup, and how many different looks do you want to give Vlad if you do pitch to him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we have a set thing for George tonight. George he rises to the occasion often, and we hope that George can go 6 or 7 for us. That would be ideal, but we'll just again see how the game unfolds. In terms of Vladdy, he has swung the bat extremely well, and this postseason has been no exception to that, and a guy that's been very dangerous. So again, as we talked about a little bit last night, a guy that you have to be very wary of there in the middle of the lineup, and I think that is something that we will definitely consider as we go forward tonight.
Go right in the front, Curtis.
Dan, it's been kind of rare that George has had an outing where he's kind of got rocked like that last time around. What have you seen in the moments where he has his ability to kind of work through that and bounce back, and how different is it when it's the same lineup that he's going to face the next time around?
Yeah, I mean, George is, I think, we've seen him rise to the occasion, and I think tonight's game, in terms of what's riding on it, the emotion that's going into it. All those things, I think George does a very good job of handling and turning into a positive. And so tonight, I foresee George going out there and doing what he does at a high level, and that getting ahead with quality strikes, and creating that either weak contact or swing and miss like he does. And that's the George that we have seen in big games, and that's the George that we hope to see tonight.
Go on the back left, Aaron.
Dan, we've seen the Blue Jays lineup get hits when it's over the plate, get hits when it's on the edges, get hits when it's outside the strike zone. With all the strikes, obviously, the Mariners throw, it comes down to tonight. How do you best approach a lineup that 1 through 9, mostly 1 through 9, has the ability to hit it far and also just make great contact? How do you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the challenge. But again, I think keeping the count in our favor and making good pitches when we're ahead, and getting them to hit the pitches that we want them to hit. And that's really what pitchers try to do anyway, and that's what we're going to try to do with this lineup tonight. They're not always going to get hits off the plate. And more times than not, they'll get weak contact on those, or swing and miss. So that's how we're going to attack it. And I think as a pitching staff, bullpen and starters, that's our strength. And I think at this stage of the game and going into a Game 7, you go to your strengths, and I know George is going to go to that and continue to be successful.
Go to Aaron right in the middle.
Dan, what is your message to the team tonight? What are you going to say in the clubhouse prior to them going out?
Yeah, I mean, just remind them who they are. This is a team that has come a long way, and just remind them of the things that they do well. And I think we've talked about it a lot, but before games and before big games, we've talked about identity a lot as a club, and these guys. Just going out there and doing the things that have helped them be successful all season long, and offensively, getting runners on base, grinding out at bats, driving the ball into gaps, And then on the mound, attacking the zone with quality pitches and you know, inducing the weak contact or swing and miss. I mean, that is what we do, and you know, that is how we'll win Game 7 as well.
Anything else for Dan? All right, Dan, thanks for coming in.
Thanks.